Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. This is a very important period of time for our country. Well, first of all, Happy New Year everyone. We've started 2021. I hope all of my viewers, all of our subscribers, our family, our community has a healthy, happy and successful new year. I can tell you that 2020 was a dumpster fire and I'm hoping that 2021 is normal. Guess what? I'll take a boring 2021 any day of the week. In this video, I'm going to answer the question, can Vice President Pence preside but not decide? In other words, can he actually play a role in the actual certification or not? Well, you'll see this article on your screen from Bloomberg, which reads, Vice President Pence can preside but not decide. When Congress counts electoral votes 48 hours from now, he can play no more than a ceremonial role, no more than a symbolic role, because that is the law. So I want our viewers and subscribers to understand what you can potentially expect on Wednesday, because we know that there's going to be a lot of drama. The Georgia Senate runoff races are tomorrow. Although the results are not expected to be known for perhaps a week, maybe 10 days, I can tell you that all eyes are going to be not just on the Georgia Senate runoff races, but also on the certification of the Electoral College results by Congress on Wednesday, 48 hours from now. So here's where things stand. Congress is going to meet again 48 hours from now in order to certify the results of the election, in order to finalize the victory of President-elect Biden. Now, keep in mind Senator Ted Cruz, who was a fierce critic of the president back in a different day and age, back in 2016. Now, Senator Ted Cruz is going to be joined by at least 10 other Republican senators. Yes, he's going to be joined by at least 10 other Republican senators, and he's mounting a challenge seeking to delay and potentially to reverse the result of the Electoral College. Yes, in fact, we'll see a clip right now from Senator Ted Cruz where he says there is a legal argument for this challenge to this election certification. Let's listen to Senator Ted Cruz. Keep in mind, he is a lawyer and he actually volunteered to represent the Trump campaign should the election challenge go to the Supreme Court. And we know that the Supreme Court said, nah, not going to happen. So let's take a look at a segment where Senator Ted Cruz from Texas is talking about the legal argument to challenge the certification of the Electoral College in Congress this week. Let's watch.
Critics, including Democrats and some Republicans, question whether the move is constitutional, saying the courts, not Congress, have the authority to handle election disputes. Here's Senator Ted Cruz defending his efforts.
I wish the Supreme Court had taken this case. I went back and looked at the historical precedents. I think the strongest precedent is the presidential election of 1876, Hayes versus Tilden. They appointed a commission. It was called an Electoral Commission, consisted of 5 House members, 5 senators, 5 Supreme Court justices.
Brett Coleman is a former federal prosecutor and former U.S. attorney for Utah. Brett, great to have you on the program again. Let's talk about 1876 and, what attorneys like to call precedents. How does that apply today, and does that hold up for what we're seeing?
Well, certainly you like precedent that's a little more recent, but in our constitutional form of government, it really doesn't matter whether it was 1976 or 1876. The reality is what Senator Cruz is indicating is a precedent, that there was an objection based on allegations of voter fraud. And so I think that's the key. And that's why you see a divided Senate right now.
So that was it, everybody. The Republican Senator Ted Cruz from Florida talking about a legal argument that's almost 150 years old. I'm pretty sure that he or one of his associates or an intern running around found that in an old textbook somewhere that they had to dust off. But guess what? A legal argument is a legal argument. But again, a legal argument that's almost 150 years old. We live in the modern age. We live in the modern era. So again, this is a legal argument from 150 years ago, where I don't believe there were cars. I don't believe there were planes. A legal argument based on something that's very obscure that is being used by a Republican senator in 2021 to challenge the results of an election. Now, I have seen a lot of reports saying that, Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley have presidential ambitions and want to appeal to President Trump's supporters. Let me know if you agree with that in the comment section below. But let's shift gears and get back to Vice President Mike Pence and his role in the Electoral College certification process. Now, let's get back to Vice President Mike Pence. Keep in mind, Vice President Mike Pence is the president of the Senate, and he has said that he welcomes the Senator's Electoral College challenge. So, what exactly is Vice President Mike Pence allowed to do during the Electoral College certification process? So, basically, the short answer is not much, because the founders wanted to prevent any bias in the certification of the Electoral College results by Congress. Now, this goes back to two things. This goes back to two principal sources of law. The first principal source of law is the Electoral Count Act of 1887, and the second is the 12th Amendment to the US Constitution. Now, the Electoral Count Act was specifically designed to ensure that disputed issues would generally be settled by state authorities. And it was written to make Washington, D.C. much quieter and to reduce basically all the partisan bickering that we are seeing right now. And under this statute, the Vice President Mike Pence in this case, will be, I quote, the presiding officer during the Electoral College certification process, but he won't have a lot to do. He's just basically sitting there being symbolic. And keep in mind, the outcome is supposed to be settled by, I quote, the certificates of the electoral votes that come from the states. So basically, the Vice President has to follow the letter of the law. In fact, the Electoral Count Act says this, and I'm going to quote the Electoral Count Act, and you'll see it on your screen. This is the Electoral Count Act. 2 tellers shall be previously appointed on the part of the Senate and 2 on the part of the House of Representatives, to whom shall be handed as they are opened by the President of the Senate, which in this case is Vice President Mike Pence, all the certificates and paper purporting to be certificates of the electoral votes, which certificates and papers shall be opened. In other words, they're saying, Vice President Mike Pence, you're going to get these certificates, you're going to open them, and then I'll continue reading, which certificates and papers shall be opened, presented, and acted upon in the alphabetical order of the states beginning with the letter A. See, that was pretty specific. Alphabetical order starting with the letter A. I don't think Vice President Mike Pence is going to be confused about this, because this is a fairly straightforward process as intended by the law. Now, keep in mind, one of the things Vice President Mike Pence can do, and he is expected to do, is ask if there are any objections. Now, the law says this, okay? Let's get back to the law. Every objection shall be made in writing and shall state clearly and concisely and without argument the ground thereof, and shall be signed by at least one senator and one member of the House of Representatives before the same shall be received. When all objections so made to any vote or paper from a state have been received and read, the Senate shall thereupon withdraw, and such objections shall be submitted to the Senate for its decision. Now, it's very clear that Senator Ted Cruz, Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri, there's Senator Cruz, hello, Senator Cruz from Florida, and there's Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri, hello, Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri, and they've clearly said that they're going to be objecting, so it's clear that their objections are going to happen. But keep in mind, the Electoral Count Act sharply limits, and by the way, this was phenomenal reporting from Bloomberg. I'll provide you with a link to the article in the description section below, so definitely check out that article from Bloomberg. And Bloomberg says that the Electoral Count Act sharply limits the power of the Senate and the House to reject electoral votes. It certainly does not give the President of the Senate, who is the Vice President of the United States, does not authorize the President of the Senate to be able to reject the Electoral College votes. Here's a quote on your screen from Stephen Siegel of DePaul University. The Senate President is meant to do something of an automaton. Basically, what the professor is saying is that the Senate President is just kind of just there to keep the seat warm. Now, keep in mind, some supporters of the President, President Trump, are saying that the Electoral Count Act is unconstitutional. Let's shift gears to the 12th Amendment. And the relevant provision from the 12th Amendment to this situation is as follows. On your screen, you see the 12th Amendment. Okay, the 12th Amendment says the President of the Senate, again, that is Vice President Mike Pence, within the framework of this discussion, shall, in the presence of the Senate and the House of Representatives, open all the certificates, and the votes shall then be counted. The person having the greatest number of votes for president shall be the president. And Bloomberg points out that the provision basically gives the vice president a modest role. He, I quote, opens all the certificates, and the key word here is all. So he has to open all of them. He can't just open some and not open others, because it's written in the law. And the governing words here within the context of this discussion are the votes shall then be counted. In other words, it's a simple black and white process. and there's no discretion to interpret this a certain way. Now, keep in mind, under normal circumstances, we wouldn't even be talking about this because the certification of the Electoral College results by Congress basically happens every 4 years after the election. It is a boring affair. No one cares about it. No one covers it. And it's really kind of like, oh. But this time, things are different. This has been a bizarre year. The last 12 months have been bizarre. And, this is, I think I wanted our viewers and subscribers to know what can happen on Wednesday and what is likely to happen and what the law says. So hopefully this was helpful for you. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. You'll get a link to all of our resources in the description section below. And so while we explored the role of Vice President Mike Pence, or I should say the limited role of Vice President Mike Pence in the certification of the Electoral College votes that take place in 48 hours from now, this news just came in as we were wrapping up this video. Here's a tweet on your screen from Annie Carney, who's a White House correspondent for the New York Times. And so it seems like a couple of attorneys who work for President Trump, including the well-known Rudy Giuliani and John Eastman, another President Trump attorney, are actually speaking with the president and Vice President Mike Pence. They're making a last-minute pitch, if you will, in the White House today about essentially a discussion of the vice president's role. Now, I outlined the law as it stands, but it looks like these attorneys might be able to find something else. And let's see what happens in 48 hours. So this news just came in that there's going to be a last-minute attempt to do who knows what. And this is an ongoing thing, as you can see, for the administration. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. I really, really, really appreciate you. I work hard on this channel to bring you the latest news, to bring you the most current news, and to bring you news that's going to help you understand the way the country works, the way the economy is changing, and most importantly, how it impacts your money. Again, my name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. This right here is some information about me. Click on that little exclamation mark on the top right hand side of the video so you can learn a little bit more about who I am, what my journey has been like, and why you should listen to me. I want us to be calm. I want us to be peaceful. I know the $600 that we've got isn't making any of us celebrate, right? See, I don't think you're celebrating for $600, but let's be clear. What's happening in the country is important for us to understand because I think things are changing in real time. We are in a very fluid political environment. We are in a very fluid economy, and I want to help you make sense of it. Remember, we release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. That's 2 p.m. If you want to get on our SMS alerts list, simply get your cell phone out, send a text message with the word ignition or the word time. Send that in a text message to the number 70000, and you'll get added to our SMS alerts list moving forward. You can also get added to our email list. Simply go to ignitiontime.com/alerts. That's ignitiontime.com/alerts, and you'll get added to our email list going forward. You can opt out of the SMS list or the email list at any point in time going forward. Stay in touch with us by getting on our SMS or email list. Now, you can also follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is ignition_time. That's ignition_time. You can also follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is also ignition_time. That's ignition_time. So make sure you follow us on Twitter. Now, YouTube does not always send out notifications on time. So all you need to do is simply bookmark youtube.com/ignition time. That's youtube.com/ignition time. And then you'll be able to visit the home page of our channel. And then you'll be able to check out our videos at any point in time that you want. We have many, many playlists on our channel. We have a playlist on politics. We have a playlist on announcements from the administration. We have a playlist on economic recovery alerts. We have a playlist on stimulus proposals, a playlist on unemployment benefits, a playlist on financial freedom, and also managing your money, not to mention new career opportunities. So make sure you check out all of those playlists because there's a wealth of information available to you on the Ignition Time channel. Now, one thing we always do is that we include the link to all of our resources in the description section below. So check out the description section below to get a link to all of our resources. If you learned something new from our video, please comment below, participate and engage with our community. And also keep in mind that all I ask from you is you please click the like button, please ignite the like button, please ignite the subscribe button because the name of our channel is Ignition Time. A like from you would mean a lot to me. I would really appreciate it. I'll show you I'll dance again if I have to just so that I can earn that like. There you go. I'll dance if I have to earn the like. All I ask is that you please click the like button. I would greatly appreciate that. Also, please share this video with just two friends or family members, and I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time.